We are still in this. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you guys are having a absolute fantastic Monday. Victory Monday. The Miami Dolphins beat the New York Jets in an overtime victory where Jonnu Smith was nothing to be seen for the entire game. And then in overtime, he had 3 plays and we won the game. You couldn't make it up if you tried. We are going to look at all of that stuff on top of something else that is going to help us calm down a little bit and make us feel nice and peaceful. And that is today's video. Some of you guys actually told me you not reached out, but you went out and grabbed yourself some Via. Hey, if you're 21 and older and you're into that stuff, and you know, even the stuff that doesn't have the HTC in it is very calming, the hemp stuff, check it out. You know, more power to you. So we're going to look at a ton of stuff. We're going to dive into what happened yesterday. I got some quotes here from Barry Jackson. I got a quote here from a Hall of Fame quarterback in Kurt Warner. We're going to talk Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to talk about the team, all that stuff. I'm rambling now. Let's jump into it. Yesterday's victory, and we're obviously looking at playoffs because we're still in it. A lot of teams got eliminated. Yesterday's victory was the first ever. This is nuts. This is chock full of nuts. First ever 32-26 final score in NFL history. And when I heard that, I was like, no. First time ever. And again, you can fact check me if you want. And comment below and tell me I'm a big dumb if I'm wrong. First ever in NFL history final score of a 32-26 victory or whatever. Don't matter who the victor was. Crazy. 1089th unique score combination. That's it. That's all I got for you in this video. That's the deeper dive. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow on the film breakdown. I'm just kidding. So there's that. Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to talk a little Tua real quick. I got some of my shirt off me. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua has a 74.5 completion percentage. That is the best in the NFL. 69% completion percentage is the best of any quarterback over the last 3 years. 68% completion percentage is the best in NFL history. And Tua owns all of those. Now, they could change. They could change. But as of right now, Tua is showing very accurate. Very, very accurate. And speaking of that, I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. Look at this right here. From Kurt Warner. Hall of Famer. Super Bowl winner. Great quarterback. If you don't think Tua has elite anticipation, timing, and accuracy, you cray. First off, Kurt, love what you do. Greatest show on turf, all that good stuff. You even helped the Giants. You helped the Cardinals get to the Super Bowl. Like, you did things with different teams. You are too old to say cray. I'm 37. I was going to say 47. Jesus. I'm 37. I would never say cray. You're too old to say cray. But, again, this is where I start to drown out certain people, because you have a Hall of Famer who has taken 2 separate franchises to the Super Bowl tell you that Tua has elite anticipation, timing, and accuracy. And then you'll have people come on my live stream or comment below saying he's trash, he's garbage, he sucks, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. They don't know what they're talking about. Now, am I saying Tua is elite? You guys know what I think of Tua, where I rank him in the hierarchy of quarterbacks. But to sit here and tell me he's trash, just absolutely ridiculous. Now, he also comes out and says that someone in the comment section says that's the only thing he's good at. And he says that's 3 things, and they are really important. Most guys in the league are saying, if I could only do those 3 things. And then, of course, he shows a stat where Tua's just throwing it here, which I find to be hilarious, right? Tua Tagovailoa People who don't like this guy and don't like his play on the field always try to pull narratives and stuff out of their butts and try to make it into something that it's not, right? There's this. Tua's only throwing checkdowns. They're going back to the 2022 narrative of check down Tua. Even though last year he led the league in passing and led the league in deep passes. Was that last year? Yeah, last year or the year before. But the year before that, it was check down Tua. Tua can't throw past this. They're now back to that narrative. It's check down Tua. He's only throwing check downs. He's only throwing crosses. He's only throwing streamer. You're becoming very lazy. Come up with new material because it's been disproven. It's lazy. And 2022, Tua was forcing, in 2021, Tua was forcing the ball too much down the field. He was not taking what was given to him by the defense. He was making stupid mistakes, and we lost to the 49ers and the Chargers, and then, all that crap started happening. So then Tua took his game, and now he's actually taking what the defense gives him. They are running too high safeties, so we don't beat them with the verticals and beat them with the stretches and all that stuff. It's very obvious, and now people are coming out and using that as a stigma. It is, and I don't like saying this. It is stupid. It is very stupid, and it's lazy. And it just shows, and I also hate saying this because it's just, you don't know what you're watching. You don't know what you're watching, and you don't know what you're seeing. Yeah, Tua, try to force the ball down. Like you saw it when Tua tried to throw two deep passes, one to Waddle, one to Tyreek, and there was a safety and a corner on him. They're trying to take away the deep ball. So he's playing what they can, and it's working, and we're moving down the field, and we're scoring points. We have since he came back, and I'm going to give you those stats, he's very accurate, and he's been doing very well. Stop with the lazy, stupid narratives. He's a good quarterback. Just stop. You sound sad. You do. You sound sad. You're punching the air right now for no reason. For no reason. Just keep punching the air. Keep being mad. You ever see when a kid gets told to go to his room and he gets yelled at in front of company, he goes up in his room and he's like, you can't talk to me like that. That's what they look like. Oh, let's bring back this old narrative. The two is a check down the merchant. It's lazy. Tua, since he came back, 1,973 passing yards, 282 yards per game, a 76% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns to 1 interception, and he has a 112.5 passer rating. It's pretty good. And I tell people, if you never got hurt, I honestly think they beat Seattle. I honestly think they beat Indy. I honestly think they beat the Indianapolis Colts. And some people laugh at me when I say that. Why? I don't know. Because if you look at those games, we held the Seattle to no points for 2.5 quarters. Tennessee, we were holding them to field goals. Our offense wasn't doing anything. Same thing with the Colts. With Tua in there, our offense is moving. We would score while our defense was continuing in those 3 games to hold them to nothing. So for you to really sit here and tell me that we wouldn't win because of Tua, again, why? I don't understand it. One last thing, I'll go off on my Tua tirade. Barry Jackson came out with this tweet. We'll read the subtweet and then we'll read his response. That's 11 touchdowns, no pick for Tua in the past month. He's the biggest reason why they'll have a chance in years to come, health provided. Agree 1,000%. I'll talk about that. He's not a perfect quarterback, but he has plenty good enough if they can build a strong enough team around him. For those who didn't understand, not perfect, I'm referring to the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen ability to run people over. For those saying he can't beat good teams, he wasn't remotely the problem versus the Bills and the Packers. And I just thank you, Barry. Thank you for pointing out something that I've been saying ad nauseum. Tua was not the reason they lost to the Cardinals, the Bills, or the Packers. There was tons of bigger reasons, tons of reasons that would have helped if they just did a little bit better. And to sit here and it's lazy. It's just lazy. No quarterback in the NFL is perfect. Prime example yesterday, Josh Allen had 6 all-purpose touchdowns, and they lost. Are you going to sit here and tell me it was Josh Allen's fault they lost? Justin Herbert had a very good game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they lost. Is it Justin Herbert's fault they lost? People will say, no, it's not Justin Herbert's fault. So-and-so dropped the ball, and the offensive line didn't block here, and the run game here, and the defense didn't make a stop here, and this and that. But you say about Tua, hey, Tua did a really good game. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, march him down the field. This and against Buffalo tied the game. Well, if he would have scored more. It's just such hypocritical nonsense. Tua can't beat good teams. I'll go... Again, I just showed you Justin Herbert. It's not his fault. But if that was Tua in there, and that's why I root for him. Not only because he's my quarterback, and again, if he was a quarterback on another team, I wouldn't give a crap, to be honest with you. I've been doing this channel for 6 years. He hasn't been on the team for 6 years. And when it was Ryan Tannehill and Brock Osweiler, I rooted for both of them, even though I told you Tannehill was better. You can go back and look at it. It makes me root for him more because of this asinine hatred that this guy gets. For no reason. Everything is his fault. Everything is his fault. And it's ridiculous. The people who want him gone want him to come out and have 100% completion percentage. Every drive ends in a touchdown, and he puts everything on his back. That's not him. And I told you when I talked about Chris Greer, they built the team wrong. If Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and I'll even give you, I'm trying to think of another mobile quarterback. Let's just go with those. Where's these quarterbacks? It'd be a different story because they're mobile. You don't build the type of offensive line that the Dolphins have for Tua Tagovailoa, for Drew Brees, for Peyton Manning, for Kirk Cousins, for, you pick any quarterback that's not mobile. But they did. So what does he do? He uses his quick release to help him with the advantage. And now people are using it against him. Do you see what I'm talking about? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Hey, they're really struggling at blocking, so I'm going to get the ball out quick, and we're going to do this. Well, Tua only throws to the first read. Why does he do that? Because he has no time to turn the reads. It makes me laugh. I'm like, do people watch football? Do people play football? Have people, broke down film? Because you have people who in my comment section and on the live streams just bashing this kid. But then I look at professionals and I look at Hall of Famers and I look at guys who have played the game before, and they all say the same thing that I'm saying. And I'm like, all right, so I'm not that far off. I'm not saying Tua is a perfect product. I'm not saying Tua is, the be all end all. I'm not even putting him in the top 10 category. But he's not as bad as people make him out to be, and not everything is his fault. This Jets game was on the defense. The Bills game was on the defense. The Cardinals game, he had a safety. Yeah, he had a safety, and then they scored, and then he came in, marching down the field, score, left with 9 points. Yes, he didn't do anything in the other drive, but he still left with a lead. Defense. But I will say this, men can't stay healthy, and I need to see him do it for the next 4 games. Those are my gripes with him. He can't stay healthy. I've been saying that from day one. And number 2, he needs to do better in this next 4 stretches to show me that he got over that hump of the end of the year, because he's playing really good now. Let's see what he could do with the final stretch. And that's I'm done with the tirade of Tua Tagovailoa. I did it for 5-6 minutes now. It's just ridiculous. Little behind the scenes stuff. Not really behind the scene, but I'm really worried about Terron Armstead. I know we don't have much information on that. But the way he was sitting on the sideline, when I get more information on that, I'll let you know. While I'm sitting here doing this, let me look it up, because he looked genuinely upset. And he looked like he was like he knew it was over. And I just feel really bad. Nothing really from the coaches or anything. But even from Cameron Wolfe, Dolphins left tackle Terron Armstead get emotional on bench, sitting by himself with offense on the field. Incredible amount of work every week. He put himself. He's only missed 1 game this year, career best, but his knee is clearly an issue for him. Now, I don't think they asked Mike McDaniel about him. And we'll probably know more about it tomorrow. But I feel for him. And he's probably in the situation where he is mulling over retirement. And I think that is why he probably was getting emotional, is because he probably was like, my knees can't do this anymore. And he might retire this offseason. And I think I just felt for him, watch him on the sideline getting emotional like that. I just wanted to talk about that. And then Malik Washington. Two things. Malik Washington saved the game for us, getting us in field goal range as quick as he did. Well, not field goal range, but to the 45. And the other thing, the Jets messed up big time when Devontae Adams went out of bounds, when they kicked the field goal to go up 26-23. Messed up big time, because if he stayed in bounds, that clock keeps rolling, and then they probably kick the field goal with no time left. Also, the pass, when we were in field goal range, that pass to Tyreek Hill on third down where we kind of hurried up. I know a lot of people saw it and went like, I'm glad he didn't catch it, because there was a safety right there. And if he catches that and gets tackled or tripped up in any way, we lose because we didn't have time. So just want to talk about those two things. And now we talk about the playoffs. And this is where we're sitting at right now. Let me go to conference. We're sitting right here. Now, these guys are all eliminated. All these guys are eliminated, and then if they lose tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think they'll be eliminated because they have 2 games left. But I fully expect this to happen. So let's just go with that. With the Chargers losing, if you look, 2 games. We are all 2 games here. So we're going to look at some scenarios real quick. So, again, it doesn't matter. Every one of these scenarios, I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins to win, because that's what has to happen. The Dolphins have to win. So, Dolphins win here. Boom. I think the Jets win here. The Bengals will win here. Bengals. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Baltimore fans. Baltimore win here, and I think Cincinnati wins here. This one doesn't really matter, but I'm going with this one. Cardinals. This is the interesting one. I think this happens because Buffalo losing to the Rams. Again, Josh Allen, 6 all-purpose touchdowns, and they lose. This one's also an interesting one. I will wait on that. I actually think Pittsburgh wins this one. Panthers kind of gave them a scare there, which that might seal them in. No, because there'd be 3 games left. It'd be interesting. I go Green Bay, Minnesota, and I go Atlanta here, right? So this is where it gets interesting, and this one doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go Rams here, and I'm going to go Cowboys here. This is where it gets interesting, right? So we're sitting here. They haven't played, and we go up. Say Denver wins. Then they stay here, but we're still 2 games, right? Stick with me. Stick with me with this. We're still 2 games, and I think no one has a bye here. So we beat Houston. So that helps, right? We want Indy to win this one. And here's why. And I think Tampa can win this one, which would also help us, right? So if this happens and Tampa beats the Chargers and Indy beats Denver, and obviously we have to win, you see here, and we are all tied, right? So stick with me, because now we're 1 game, but hey, Indy's still ahead of us. You go to the following week. This is where it gets interesting. So again, this might happen. You got 8-7. This happens. You got 8-7, right? This all of a sudden becomes something interesting to watch. So again, a lot of people worrying about Indy. Stick with me, right? Stick with me. We're going to save this one for last. Say this happens. Could. Stick with me. Stick with me. Miami obviously has to win out. I'm trying to find any of the other AFC teams that I need to make a decision on. I think Buffalo wins here. Don't really matter. Okay. So we're sitting at here, right? We're still in the same situation. Chargers win. And where was the other one I said stick with me? We jump them. Look at this. We jump them. Gets interesting. It gets very interesting. And this is a very real possibility, even though Denver has a very good defense. Then we go here. This is where it gets extremely interesting, because you have these teams, these 4 teams will be playing each other. Playing each other. It gets interesting here. And it's going to be difficult. I think this will happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if this happens, right? But I think this happens. The Dolphins have to win. It don't matter. This is another interesting one where I could see Cincinnati winning, but it doesn't matter. And then say Baltimore wins here, right? And they fall to 8-8. They beat the Colts. Look what happens. You see this? This is a possibility. All of a sudden, Houston is out of the playoffs, and Indy gets that 4 seed, and Miami gets boosted up because they have the same record as Denver. And then the Chargers would beat New England. It don't really matter. But look at that. Same record boosts them up. And then obviously week 18, we look at it, it wouldn't matter. If Dolphins win, nothing else really matters, because say they win, they go 10-7 because they rest their starters. They win. Who is Houston playing? They win 9-8. They win, and then they win, right? Say all that happens, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And that's where I go to here. The Dolphins went into yesterday's game with a 13% chance of making the playoffs. Now, this doesn't matter here, so I think this is going to happen. It doesn't matter. Come down here. This is not happening. It's not happening, but Dolphins need to win this game. We go up to 30-something. Now, see, they actually agree with me, because if Colts win and the Bucks win, and I think the Ravens win, look how much it shoots up from about 18% to 42%. Our chances of getting in the playoffs, it becomes even more obtainable. And then Chiefs beat Denver. Obviously, Dolphins need to win. 50%. I think the Colts beat the Titans, and we would need the Chargers to beat the Broncos. Look at that. 59%. Now, this game, it doesn't really matter to me, but let's say Steelers goes up to 62. And then watch this. We can probably be in such a great situation here. Ravens beat the Texans. Bengals beat the Broncos. Chargers will win this one. Colts will win this one. Dolphins will win this one. And at this point, it doesn't matter. If the Dolphins beat the Jets, they're in the playoffs. So we can be at a situation where we go into week 18 and say these two teams, one of them win. Wow, I didn't even realize that. The Colts beat the Jaguars because the Texans would win the division and the Dolphins wouldn't matter. So they probably play them at the same time. So if the Colts beat the Jaguars and they win the division, it doesn't matter what happens. The Dolphins could lose to the Jets. We're still in the playoffs. So the Dolphins can get to the point where they win out. They get to 9-6. It doesn't matter here if the Colts beat the Jaguars. Now, other things could happen as well where the Texans can get hot. The Texans beat the Chiefs. See, then it's a horse of a different color, because the Dolphins would need to win this game, and they would need the Titans to win, or the Raiders to win, or the Browns to win. So then you'd have to come back to these situations and have all this other stuff pan out. But as of right now, with all the fun happening, the Dolphins need to win out. And if certain cards fall to a certain situation like I showed you, they can go into week 18. If the Colts beat the Jaguars, they're in. And it doesn't matter what happens with the Jets, and we could rest our starters. Just keep winning. I will never root for them to lose, because even in a situation where at the end of the year, our best draft pick, if we lost out, is pick 8, and our, the highest we can go is like in the 20s. I don't care. It's about taking. If you really like a player, you trade up. We saw it with the Chiefs trading up to get Patrick Mahomes. We saw it with the Bills trading up to get Josh Allen. It doesn't matter about where you're picking. If you like a pick, just trade up. And I have a whole video talking about how we can get assets, how we can get this, that. Right now, we're in the playoff thick of it. You got to go beat the Houston Texans next week. So I'm already, we have the film breakdown tomorrow, and then I'm done with the Jets. I'm on to the Houston Texans. So comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with the film breakdown. But like usual, stay classy. FN's up.